Welcome
What's up,
everybody
y'all?
back.
Yeah, keeping the
Yeah, I
C
mean,
Note podcast.
welcome. Thank y'all for coming back, checking us out, lighting us up on
Yep,
IG and everything.
yep,
So
yep, yep,
what's up,
yep.
cuz? I know you're ready to keep it a C note on some other stuff. Some castings
Let's
that
keep.
got at you. I know about last week. I know somebody that got at you, and they gonna get
Yeah,
at you about that Dallas thing. But I got your back, fam.
yeah,
I got your back
yeah. It ain't about nothing. The truth hurts, but you gotta keep it a C Note.
every
You know what
time.
I mean?
Every time, bro.
Anyway, first topic. First topic. So we got a new album coming out called it may have dropped already. Mount Westmore,
Mm.
Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg,
Ooh,
E40,
okay.
and Too Short.
Oh,
That's the four.
heavy hitters.
So yeah, definitely heavy hitters. So the question I pose to you is, if you had to do a Mount Rushmore with all West Coast artists, who would be on your Mount Rushmore? Would this be the list? Would you change anybody?
That's rough, man. I mean, speaking for me, probably drop two of the cats. You know what I'm saying? Even though E40 is a West Coast legend, like they love E40 over there. He's
Yeah,
like a god over there.
yeah,
Too Short is another West very underrated rapper,
yeah.
legend. I don't think he's on the global stage like he should be. So I'm gonna take Too Short off. I'm
Right.
gonna put Pac on there.
You gonna give Pac the a West Coast joint? You know
I
what I
got
mean?
to. I got to. Because I can't call him repping the East, even though technically he's from here, but he was a West Side. You know what I'm saying? He even got a song called California Love, so you know where his heart is.
Ain't no doubt. And yeah. So I respect that. So Pac, yeah, that's a legend.
All right.
Who else you got?
If I'm gonna take E40 off, I'm probably gonna go to somebody that helped birth gangster rap, and I'm gonna say Easy.
Ain't no doubt.
I'm gonna have to put Easy on there because Easy helped set a trend for a bunch of artists coming forward that like Bone Thugs and Harmony, NWA. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yep,
set a trend for that gangster rap lane. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
So if I was gonna take anybody off, it would be E40 and Too Short and put Easy and Pac on there. What you
All
think?
right, all right. I respect it. I mean, I'm not. Even though Pac was repping the West, I'm not going to throw him on there. You know what I mean? First of all, there's no Mount Rushmore in the West Coast without Easy E on it. He's the
Fact,
godfather of gangster rap out there, man. So
fact.
Easy E from the gun bus, he gotta go on there. Then, you
So who you
know,
taking off?
he first person I'm gonna take off is, you know what I mean, Too Short.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I love the whole pimping wave and all that, but Easy E gotta get a spot on there. So I gotta take Short off. Next, and this one is hard. You know what I mean? This one is hard because it came down to out of the Bay Area and LBC with Snoop taking one of them off. And originally, I was gonna take Snoop off. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was gonna take Snoop off. When I sat back and I thought about the impact that he had on the game, him coming with Dre and that whole Chronic to the Doggy Style wave, like he helped pioneer or something, you know what I mean? So I would have to take 40 and Short off, but I'm putting on Easy E and Dr. Dre. So mine would be Easy E, Dr. Dre, Cube, and Snoop
So
for
you're going
sure.
NWA plus Snoop. I roll
Yep,
with you.
yep,
You know what's
yep,
crazy? If
basically.
I had to, if thinking about Dr. Dre, with him and Cube, it's like this for me. You know what I'm saying? They both had real big impacts on the game. Only reason why I would leave Cube on there is because Cube had one of the nastiest diss tracks of all time. No
No
Vaseline was
Vaseline?
one of the
Yeah.
dirtiest things you could ever put out there. So I feel like he set a trend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He didn't
Right.
start diss tracks. I feel like Kumo D might have started diss tracks, but No Vaseline was like the first time somebody was like, they family took offense. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. I think Game said it best. He said Dre is the only doctor that got all of his patients rich.
Ooh, facts. That's true.
So Dr. Dre is like, he's from before NWA, Worldwide Wrecking Crew, and you know, he started there. He went to NWA. He went to Death Row. He started Aftermath. He gave you Eminem. He's still giving you stars. He gave you the Game. He had 50 Cent. You know what I mean? He got Kendrick right now. You know, he still has an impact on the game like it's the 90s. The Beats thing, like he's now Cube branched off into the movie things, and that's a big salute. But what I'm saying is Dre is still making stars. So he has to go on that Rushmore.
Bro, you might have just, I'm gonna keep the scene on with you. You might have just swayed me to take Cube off and put Dre on there. I didn't even think about the fact that he's still putting artists out today like Kendrick Lamar and cats like that.
Yeah.
All right, bang, I'm gonna stamp it. Cube off, Dre on.
So you taking Cube off?
I got to. I can't take Snoop off. Oh no. You know how I feel about Snoop, bro. Snoop is like.
And you gonna give Pac West Coast?
I gotta get
Cube?
Because Pac, real talk, Pac might come out with another album next month. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude been putting out albums since we was in grade school, and they all fire. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where do we find?
But I think that's like a cheat code, like adding him, man, because he really bumped somebody up. But I'm gonna respect it though. You can't go wrong with either one of those joints. Either one of those Rushmores you can't go wrong with. But new person that you would have to add to that Mount Rushmore out west today. Who you got?
I'm gonna go Kendrick. Even though we talked a couple weeks ago and I had to revisit my Nipsey Hussle stance and re-listen, and I'm officially a Nipsey Hussle fan now.
I'm rubbing off on you.
Because Kendrick has a hold on the game like not too many people have. He has the hold on the game like back when we was young, when you was waiting for my album to drop and you cut school early to go to Tower Records to buy the album. You know what I'm saying? Like if Kendrick drop an album, he's stopping everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what time to drop, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. People listening. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Kendrick's got the game on smash right now. So I'll put him on there for the new cast. What about you?
I love Kendrick. Kendrick like my top guy out there right now. But the newer guys, I'm gonna have to say Hurricane Game, man.
Okay.
Just because the longevity thing, like Game can really rap. And he's been doing this since like 04, 03, 04. Like, and you've heard him rap with New York dudes and hold his own weight. Like, you know what I mean? Kendrick can too, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, for Game to still be doing it, like, and it's like he's a chameleon. Like, he can get on anybody track with him and spit they flow just as good as them. Like, I think he's underrated as a rapper. You know what I mean? I think he's underrated as a rapper. But just because he has over 15 years in the game and I think he's still relevant, I will put him there. But don't get me wrong, Kendrick not too far behind him. If Kendrick, another 5 years, if Kendrick is still there, then yeah, Game wouldn't make that Rushmore. It would be Kendrick.
I agree. Game is very underrated. Like, people sleep on him. Like, he had an album that came out, I'm gonna say about 5 years ago. He dropped 2 within like a 3-month period, and they was both just fire, straight fire. Like, I could listen to them straight through. And it's not too many cats who drop an album where you just put it on, set it, forget it, and go. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like,
I think it was the second one that he dropped. I forgot the name of it, but it was like I put it on and I just let it run. And I was just like, yo, this is fire. And every time a new song came on, yo, this was crazy. This was crazy. His change was flow and everything. So I think he gets disrespected when it comes to hip hop.
And when I listen to Game on tracks with other people, it kind of give me back that Biggie feel back in the day. It kind of give me the Biggie feel from back in the day. When you heard that Notorious Thugs and you first heard Biggie switch his flow and rap like them. I think like every time Game gets on a track with somebody, he not only raps, but he uses their flow and he does his thing.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I mean? And he got a lot of joints. Like his radio hits might have fell off, but when you listen to his albums, he's always got about 4 or 5 joints that you can bang in rotation. At least 4 or 5 joints.
It's
That's
true.
a
He
fact.
won't get the radio play. He's not going to get radio play. But like, if you're a fan of hip hop, I'll say this to anybody: if you're a fan of hip hop, check out the Game's last like 4 albums, and it'll show you that he's still there. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the Game.
All right, so since we talking rappers, hip hop, who you got? We're gonna spin it to the East Coast. Your top 3, we're going right to one of the boroughs. Your top 3 Harlem rappers.
Harlem?
Mm-hmm.
If we talking Harlem, then I'm going to give you my 3. Number 3, Big L.
Okay.
And number 2, I'm going to say Q-Tip.
Okay.
Number one probably going to shock everybody because the person I'm going to pick, he didn't have a lifespan like that in the game because he quit like when he had the game on Smash. I'm going to say Mace.
Ooh, respect.
I'm going to say Mace. I think till this day, I think Mace, I don't want to say the most talented, but I think he became the biggest star out of Harlem.
Right.
I think it will be because Q-Tip is talented too. If we going talent for talent, I would just say Q-Tip because he do the producing and all of that. But if we just talking about on the mic, I gotta go with Mace because Mace, a lot of people don't give Mace credit, and Mace set a lot of trends in hip hop. And he might have had the game only on Smash for like a year and a half, but he did a lot in that year and a half. He did what most people ain't doing their whole careers in a year and a half. And he was still on top of the game when he retired.
True. All right, so I'm going to go. First, I'm going to give my honorable mention. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to give my man big up props to this. Cameron is my honorable mention. I don't think he gets the props that he deserves because, you know, he got Dipset and all that kind of stuff. But his albums and projects by themselves was spectacular. It just don't seem like he's doing anything anymore. My number 3, I'm going way back, cuz one of the first men to ever write a diss record, Kumo D. Very underrated. He make you bop. He do the Wild Wild West and all that. But then he'll spit some fire at you if you cross him. Like he came at LL Cool J for years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
So
but 3 though?
I'd give him 3. I give him 3 because he's a pioneer, and I feel like he still got like when you for me, greatness is when you do something to change the game. And I feel like he was the first person to make diss records personal. You know what I'm saying? Where it wasn't, we were just at a party, we fit some general stuff. No, I'm gonna make this track about you, your family, your hobbies, all that stuff. I'm gonna kill your whole life. So that's why I give Kumo D that. Number 2, your man, like you said, Mace. Mace may have only had like one real official album that we banged, but that album had like top hits every second track. Tracks that we still listen to today. I mean, we all laughed about it, but Jealous Guy was funny. But it was the song that was banging. 24 hours a day.
And Jealous Guy is something that the new guys is a sound they doing now.
Exactly.
That little harmonizing, fake singing joint. That's them just the beat is sped up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He got 24 Hours to Live. He had mad features on there, but that song was heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole album, that Harlem World album, is a classic, and it still plays today. So that's why I say he had the game on Smash, and like you said, he left it way too early. Number 1, I'm gonna go with my man Q-Tip, because Tribe Called Quest, you know, of course you got Phife Dawg with him, but you could see his imprint, Q-Tip's imprint on that, the artists that he's producing today, people that he write for, still making hits, you know, doing features and everything like that. So this dude has been, and that last album that Tribe Called Quest came out with was crazy, crazy. So I'm like, these dudes been doing it for over 30 years, and he's still putting that work, and he's helping other people. So that's why I say Q-Tip is my number one dude out of Harlem, man.
Well, you know, I love the debate. I can't really debate that one because, like I said, number one, number two, whether you go Q-Tip, Mace, but what I'm saying is, it's a lot of stuff that Mace don't get credit for that he was doing. Like I remember like late 97, summer 98 when we all used to go to dances and illusions and everybody had the baseball jackets and they had the matching hats. And I remember just one time we went there and everybody had big fitted hats on over their eyebrows. And I'm like, why the hell everybody got these big hats on?
Yeah.
And you know, John is a diehard Mace fan. So, you know, he told me, man, that's Mace wave. And then I started seeing a lot of stuff. I was like, yo, because back then I think he kind of popularized the last two bars rhyming on a track. You know what I mean? He kind of made that like most people was just giving you like Biggie. I've been had skills, Crystal spills. You know what I mean? Like just rhyming that one word. You know what I mean? And then Mace came along and he kind of changed it with the flow. He kind of made it cool for pretty boys. Because at one time, remember, especially in Philly, pretty boys was considered soft. Like Mace kind of made it cool for dudes to be pretty boys and run around with the fly stuff on and smiling and everybody wanted dimples. I even remember people talking extra slow like they was trying to talk like Mace.
Yes.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize it. Mace had a big influence on the game. And I would give Cam honorable mention too, but I think sometimes a lot of people blow things out of proportion when they try to put Cam over Mace. And Cam Cam did a lot in his career with Dipset and all of that. But if it wasn't for Mace, especially coming from Philly, like, so, you know, we listened to artists, like we heard all the Capones and Noriegas and all that when you listened to Nas, because you was a fan of Nas. Like when you first started hearing Mason, like who was the young boy Mace got with him? And then when the first song, the 357 song came out, I didn't know who the hell boy was, but it kind of caught on to me. But it you know what I mean? I wouldn't have known him if it wasn't for Mace, because he would have never got probably wouldn't have got no spins on Clue tape back then. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it a beam. So I don't like when people do that. Like that year, if you give Mace from Only You remix to that last 112 song where he was dissing Jay, if you give him that space, he was that guy in that time.
And a lot of cats forgot Mace came back with a banger that it was like early 2000s. He came back with that banger, Welcome Back. That shut the summer down. And everybody,
like 04.
Yeah, the next album's coming, Mason's back. Literally, if Mace would have made an entire like run at coming back, then he'd have had the game on Smash. Because right then, the game was in flux. You know what I'm saying? We still got Hove and Nas and all of them, but nobody's really stealing the game.
It's brilliant, though, when you really look at it, because if you look at history, you can tell what's what. So when you look at it right now and you say, damn, Jay-Z's that guy, right? But when you look at Jay-Z's career, 96, he came in, Reasonable Doubt was smoking. That was smoking, but you had Biggie out, you had Nas out, like he couldn't get over the hump. Biggie died 97, he tried Volume 1, he tried to make another Life After Death, a bunch of commercial songs, it didn't work. Around that time, though, he says, okay, who's the top guys in the rap game? He started picking on Mace, throwing little, like nobody really peeped that. Even the stuff with Nas, like if you were real hip hop fans, he was throwing shots at Nas for the longest. But when he always did it, he always would do it on somebody else's song. So that's how initially that Nas and Bleak thing, I mean, yeah, the Nas and Bleak thing started because Jay dissed Nas on Bleak song. And Nas responded on Nostradamus when he said, "You want a ball till you fall, I can help you with that." He was talking to Jay, but being as though the ball till you fall song was Memphis Bleak's song, Memphis Bleak thought he was talking to him.
Right.
But it was all like, you know what I mean? Even with Jadakiss, he blocked Jadakiss. Fiesta come out with Jadakiss, he jump on a remix. Maya, like, so you can tell these guys, Jay knew that these guys, Nas, Mace, Kiss, these guys were threats to him, and he kind of helped push them out the way.
Yeah, it's true. And it's crazy because just mentioning features, if you look at Mace's features, like, he's got major features on people's stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the All About the Benjamin, all of that. Like, it's little stuff that he just was in. And it's like, yo, damn, Mace was popping.
The Nickelodeon joint.
Yeah.
And he had a song with the Rugrats when the Rugrats was popping at the time. You know what I mean? He was one of them first guys that invested early, because I believe he invested in a couple things with Magic Johnson. I think he was one of the original guys that invested in them I'm not original, but at one point I think he invested in Starbucks, and Magic Johnson had him investing in the private jets and all. So, and like at one time he had it all together. Like, I don't know what his contract was, but from the outside looking in, he was making major moves that could have shook the game, and he just left. You know what I mean? For whatever the reasons was back in Harlem, or he, you know, whatever the reasons was, he just left. But even when you take a look at the second album to me, I think was Mace trying to be rebellious, because on the second album, he tried to go back to Murder Mace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was like some of the raps he spit, they was nice bars, but they didn't go with the beats. The beats was too soft for the raps. So I guess, you know, he got tired of the club music, I mean the radio music, and wanted to go back to, I don't know how that happened, but you could tell from the first album, the formula wasn't the same for the second album.
Nah, because he kept saying, he said it on Harlem a couple times. I was murdered. He made me pretty. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can always see he was trying to reach back to that that murder.
Well, you know, you become the butt of everybody's jokes. You know, when you start getting money, or you start getting your name known and everything, sometimes when people is you know, little envious of you, they make jokes of stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I can see people being like, damn, you talking about jealous guys and all that, but you was just Murder Mace, or you singing, harmonizing, can't nobody hold me down, but you was just, I can see dudes hating like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can see that happening.
And it's funny how Cat hated on that, and the whole game pivoted to that platform. That's what hip hop became. Hip hop became, I'm a rap and then I'm gonna sing on my hooks. You know what I'm saying? So, but Cats, they hate on Mace for that. It's kind of wild, because y'all turned around and started doing it. Made the game exclusively that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a fact.
So
what's this last topic?
We're gonna get to this one. Two legends, right? You gotta pick one to be your Chris Paul or John Stockton. Who you taking?
I'm taking Stockton.
Really?
I'm taking Stockton. Stockton, like, a lot of people sleep on Stockton. Stockton played in that same era I'm telling you about, where when you was a little guard like Stockton was, you had to lock up, you had to be able to shoot, you know what I mean? And you had to be tough, and he was all them things. Stockton could shoot. He could shoot the mid-range. He could shoot the three-pointer. If you open, he's going to get it to you. He lock up, all-time leader in steals and assists, bro. Chris Paul is a great too, because he makes everybody better wherever he goes. But it seems like he gets to a point in the playoffs where every year he always runs out of gas. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people always say, oh, well, Stockton had Malone and all of that. But I don't think that matters. To me, that doesn't matter at all.
because I think even if he didn't have Malone, he still would have been great.
I'm gonna go CP3. For me, Chris Paul is the most complete point guard to ever touch a basketball. Like you said, he makes people better. He can find people. My thing, for me, the Stockton and Malone thing is huge because Jerry Sloan literally built an entire offensive scheme around just two players doing a pick and roll, pick and pop, pick and fade, pick and whatever, pick and slash, whatever. So I feel like them doing it for, I don't know how long they was together, like 16 years, something like that, some long astronomical time. Like, you have two of the greatest players playing off each other with one of the greatest coaches. I don't feel like Chris Paul has ever played with anybody the caliber, and of course not nobody, as good as Karl Malone, but anybody the caliber of a Karl Malone next to him. Like, the closest thing, I'm not going to say James Harden because they weren't a mix. That, James Harden ain't on Karl Malone's level at all. He's just a good scorer to me. But I feel like the closest thing is this year with Devin Booker. I feel like Devin Booker is the first real killer that Chris Paul's played with. Like, Devin Booker will go out and give you
be careful with that word killer.
I know everybody's a killer till a real killer walk in the room. True.
That's
but I do believe Devin Booker is a killer. I believe he has that in him. He has that. He's the closest person, I'll say, to having Kobe's mentality in the league. You know what I'm saying? To where I'm going to come in and I don't care who you are, I'm going right at you. Now, I'm not saying
he's going to go at you. He definitely got the mentality to go at you.
You know what I'm saying?
But
so
Mamba,
with Chris Paul, I don't feel like anybody before this was of the caliber. Because like you said, we got burnt down the playoffs. That's because he was carrying the whole damn team all the time, from New Orleans to the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? Even sometimes in Houston, because that year that he played in Houston, what was it, year and a half, something like that, James Harden wasn't at the top of his game that whole time. He would have nights where he would go like 3 for 25.
Well, because James Harden is a killer until he gets into a certain part of the playoffs.
This is true. He a
fake killer. He has killer moments. Let's just say that. You have killers and you have people that have killer moments.
I'll give you that. I'm with that.
He has killer moments. He's
right.
Not a killer though.
No.
You know what I mean? He one of the guys you take his weapons away. You be like, him? He did that? Like, yeah, but
I agree.
I think Stockton was that good. And I think if it wasn't for the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, Stockton would have 2 rings, because I think they would have won both of them rings them years.
Yeah.
I think they would have won both them rings. And
good though. They were very deep teams.
Yeah, but he ran the team, and this was no load management. He went out, played 39 minutes a game. He locked up.
True.
He didn't take plays off. You know what I mean? And like I said, all-time leader in steals and assists, that speaks for itself. Not taking nothing away from Chris Paul. Chris Paul is phenomenal. And everywhere he goes, he like Chris Paul made David West a star.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of made DeAndre Jordan a star. Definitely. You know what I mean? Definitely. So let's put some respect on CP3 name, but I'm not gonna go that far and say he's better than Stockton. Not at all.
For me, I think they're mirror images. Like, if you look at their game, their numbers,
he reminds me of him. He reminds me of him, except for one thing. One thing is John Stockton probably has more killer moments than Chris Paul. Chris Paul is like LeBron. He'll make that pass into the open guy. He'll make the right pass. But we talking about killer, like Stockton wasn't afraid to put that ball up. That's why the pick and roll worked so well with them, because you had to respect Stockton shooting that joint.
Shoot it. But you know what's crazy? Chris Paul's a good shooter, but he never really had anybody to run a real pick and roll with. Like, David West is a good example. Like, David West was a decent mid-range shooter, but you ain't gonna play up on David West all crazy. Karl Malone, if you left Karl Malone 3 feet, he's knocking a jump shot in your face. Almost every time from the same spot, from the left side of the top of the key, he's catching it. I'm knocking it down in your face. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like he hasn't had that opportunity because, like right now, if you run a pick and roll with Chris Paul and Devin Booker, oh, you got a problem. Because if you switch, one of them gonna hit the three. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the fact. And like I said, you're right. They are a mirror image of each other. Like I would compare. I would just say that Stockton just had a couple more killer moments than Chris Paul. And yeah, Stockton, he's probably played. Not probably. He has played on better teams. So I give you that one. Stockton played on way better teams than Chris Paul. Chris Paul is nice. I would say he would be like, if we rating them like this is a video game and you was giving Stockton a 90, I would give Chris Paul a 88.
Okay.
Right, he's right there with him. Just a couple more killer moments.
I can respect that. And another thing that worked against CP3 is he only really had one good coach, and that was Doc. You know what I mean? Forever.
And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but sometimes it rubs me as if like players don't like playing with Chris Paul.
You know what? He's very demanding. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And this goes to your point about players these days being soft, like Kelly Oubre said. Cats don't want to hear that. Like, cats don't want to hear what I'm doing wrong. Cats only want to hear what I look good in so I can put it on the gram. You know what I'm saying? Cats don't want to hear, listen, you missed this spot here when I was looking for you. Had you been there, that's 2 points. You know what I'm saying? And cats don't want that hard coaching because Chris Paul, don't get me wrong, the day Chris Paul walks off the court as a player, he could walk on as a coach. You dig what I'm saying? Because he has that. He demands that. And I think that's one of the reasons why him and James Harden get along. Because Chris Paul is not going to let James Harden just go out there and freestyle and not get it done. He's going to get in your face. Yo, you fucking up. We could be winning this series, this game, whatever, but you taking out of bounds shots and shit like that. We got 3 open dudes and you ain't looking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's I think he does hold people accountable too much. And I think the new wave of players, they like